when I first visited Advancing Native Missions, even 26 years ago, there were three aspects of the ministry that really captured my heart. And number one was the vision. Matthew 24:14 says, when the gospel of the kingdom has been preached throughout the world, geographic world, as a witness to all nations, at those people groups, then the end will come. And of course, we know as Christians, that's a good ending. Jesus comes back, reigns and rules on the earth, right? So that's a vision. Number two was the mission, and that really is what separates us from a lot of missions organizations, most of them. What we do is instead of sending Westerners over to other countries, we encourage, equip, and advocate for strategic, fruitful Native missionaries, indigenous Christians that are there. They're already reaching the least reached and the unreached. All they need is some encouragement, some love, some resources, and they'll multiply tenfold. So that really is the distinguishing factor for A&M, is we have that different paradigm of going into these countries. So by God's grace and for His glory today, we're in over 100 countries.
Wow.
and partnering with about 290 of these indigenous Christian ministries.
So tell me, if you would, break it down, the role of A&M representatives as you go into these various countries and work with the indigenous missionaries. What is it that you do, and what is it that they do, and how do the two coincide?
Excellent. So these are independent Christian ministries, and we're partnering with 290 of them in over 100 countries. And these are ministries, they're already in the field, they're in the countries where they're working. They love the Lord, they're organized, they have awesome, solid statements of faith, great testimonies in the community, they're transparent in their finances, all those kind of things. And so what we do is we look for them, especially in places that are hard to reach. We primarily work in Middle East, South Asia, Southeast Asia. And so when we find them, they go through a vetting process. We have like a 12-step vetting process, is very thorough. And once we go through the process, it could take 6 months to 2 or 3 years. Then we become partners. So that really is the beginning of that relationship. Now, what do we do? So basically, Bob, the best way to look at us is like a bridge between the church, capital C, in the U.S., the church, capital C, around the world. So we are that bridge. So believers here, anybody really, families, organizations, churches, can give to us, and we transfer those funds to these Native missionaries. Now, what we do also, obviously, so we go out and we represent them. We advocate for them in the churches, and and then again, we're building up relationships for them. We're finding friends for them, resources for them. And on the other side of the coin, so that's facing the U.S. We're representing them in the U.S. We can give their donors, obviously, tax-deductible receipts, those kind of things, send out newsletters on their behalf. So we're representing them. But on the other side, then, we are also caring for them, for their leaders and their missionaries. So we have what are called regional directors, 9 regions with regional directors, and they're responsible for being the liaison with the leaders in their regions. And so they're staying in touch with them, they're praying for them. Again, our regional directors praying for these missionary leaders around the world. We will send teams there, we'll send church teams there. So really, we offer financial resources, prayer resources, and personnel resources. So that makes sense?
Absolutely. Oliver Asher is joining us today here on the Meeting House on Faith Radio. He is the president of the missions organization called Advancing Native Missions. It is the 2023 National Religious Broadcasters Convention in Orlando. Well, you have written a book called Invincible Joy. Tell me, if you would, what inspired that?
So really, Bob, what inspired it was that I knew from sharing my testimony, in churches and just sharing the goodness of the Lord, really, through my life, that it was a little different testimony. And honestly thought maybe I'd write a book, one day, but the timing just seemed right to do it now. And, and there's, again, coming from the holler to the University of Virginia to being a leader of a global ministry, what has helped me to get where I am today is Invincible Joy. And really, I can tell you honestly, Bob, Invincible Joy is a person, and his name is Jesus.